So last night I saw the movie Barbarian, and this movie was so incredibly far from what I expected it to be. But I'm also pleasantly surprised because this movie was really thematic and symbolic while also being super entertaining. Symbolic moments like AJ's sexual allegations, the tripod, the bed, and the bucket, the monster woman nurturing Tess, Frank shooting himself, the meaning of the title of the movie, and the meaning of the ending of the movie. I did a lot of research on the director, Zach Cregger, and his process for making this movie, so I hope you enjoy. So to break this movie down, we're going to use one central theme: image of a monster. We'll discuss Keith's innocence, AJ's sexual allegations, Tessa's heroism, the tripod, bed, and bucket, the VHS tapes, Frank shooting himself, the inbreeding, the monster woman, the meaning of the film's title, and the ending, and much more. And if you like this video, please leave a thumbs up and a comment. It helps so much. And if you want to see more of these, please make sure to subscribe as well. Let's get started. Theme number 1, image of a monster. In one of the many interviews that I watched with the writer and director, Zach Cregger, he stated that the film is about male privilege and sexual misbehavior. And throughout this movie, these colorful characters are constantly contrasting, reflecting, and juxtaposing against one another. And this uncovers some actually interesting truths about who we perceive as innocent and who we perceive as a predator. During the first act of the film, we all assume that Keith is the villain. We're just waiting within every scene for Keith to strike and likely kidnap and abuse Tess until she can escape or be saved. Cregger even highlights at one of his screenings that we assume Keith is the antagonist because of his towering height, his subtly eerie expressions, his social awkwardness, and even previous roles that the actor Bill Skarsgard has played in Hollywood, most notably the killer clown Pennywise. However, Keith is completely innocent. He's actually the first victim of the film. We even get the line from Keith, "Do I look like a monster to you?" And the film, of course, flips this expectation on its head. And when it comes to challenging our expectations, the inverse of Keith would obviously be AJ. Cregger also highlights at the screening that the audience will likely assume that AJ is harmless and kind based on his appearance. His size and stature is unintimidating. And the actor, Justin Long, is known to play funny, goofy, innocent, naive, or kind-hearted characters. And this likely leads the audience to give AJ the benefit of the doubt in the car when we first meet him about his sexual allegations. Like it could be some possible misunderstanding or misuse of terminology between him and the actress on a show. However, as you get to know AJ, you learn that he's not actually a good person at all. He's actually kind of terrible, and it makes you realize that the allegations are very likely to be completely true. Another pair of characters that are inversely reflected against one another are Tess and AJ. Tess and AJ are polar opposites, and this is best demonstrated when we see each of them venture into the same basement at different times. Tess ventures into the basement out of empathy and compassion, and with bravery. AJ ventures into the basement out of greed, through a tactic of manipulation, to deceive buyers into believing there's more square footage to the home he's trying to sell. Despite Tessa's smaller physical frame and her gentle nature, she's very much the courageous, persevering hero of this story. And despite AJ's smaller physical frame and goofy nature, he's very much the monster. And what really confirmed this for me was a line from Cregger in that first interview I saw, where he says, "In my mind, AJ and Frank are the same person. Frank is a crystallization of everything that's wrong with AJ." So when AJ is confronting Frank and looking at his behavior, he's really looking at a deep, dark part of himself. Frank and AJ are mirror reflections of one another. Frank is just a semi-supernatural, hyperbolic version of AJ. He's symbolic of AJ's dark side. And of course, as we see throughout this movie, Frank is a psychotic person that does terrible things to various women. We see him masquerade as a tradesman to open the window of a woman's house during the day and abduct her from her home at night. He does a lot of things to them in his basement that I can't really get into, but I'm sure you get the gist when you see the bed, the bucket, and the tripod. And we can see years worth of VHS tapes in his bedroom holding this despicable footage. And I believe this is why Frank shoots himself after coming face to face with AJ. It's as if they are both terrified and disgusted when they realize who AJ could become and who Frank used to be. And of course, as the homeless man describes, over the years, there is this father-daughter inbreeding that causes the women to be so messed up. And I think the woman's attempts at capturing our characters was simply to live out the only role she was taught, to nurture and protect her offspring. Due to the suppressive life of having Frank around, the woman never learned any further aspects of a prosperous feminine life where she can educate herself, build a career, and make independent decisions, all the while nurturing a family if she chooses to. It actually makes her acts of terror feel a lot more saddening than frightening. So to tie this whole image of a monster theme together, the monster of the movie, the woman, is not truly the monster of the movie. She was a victim of the actual monster of the film, Frank. The same way Tess was a victim of the same monster of the film, AJ, when he threw her off the water tower. AJ is the one who has the violently uncivilized barbarian living within him. And clearly, AJ justifies this by convincing himself that he isn't a bad person, just a good person who has done some bad things. And this water tower incident is also foreshadowed by Tess having the snake trinket in her car, while we hear AJ sing about killing snakes when he is introduced in the movie. So in the end, the woman saves Tess from the fall and kills AJ. And Tess, knowing she must put this woman out of her lifelong misery, shoots the woman. This barbaric cycle of manipulation, deceit, oppression, and sexual misbehavior has been put to rest, and our courageous heroine can finally live freely. Alright, this is my analysis. Subscribe for weekly videos and please send me recommendations. And please let me know your thoughts and interpretations around Barbarian because I love this movie and I would love to discuss. I hope to see you again and thank you so much for watching. See you later.